And now to bring on my first guest, Tyler Marshall, president of ParityFactory, and he will be discussing how digital traceability can reduce risks and find efficiency. Tyler?
Thank you, Tara. Yeah, no, we're really excited to be here. I really appreciate you guys taking the time and giving us this opportunity to talk a little bit about what we do. So just as a little bit of background on kind of who I am and who we are, ParityFactory is a software provider, and we have a system built specifically for food manufacturers, food processors, and those dealing in the agricultural industry. We've actually been in business just over 30 years, got our start in the Alaskan seafood industry, of all things, with our original founders actually working in that industry and deciding to start a software company that focused on helping those companies track their inventory, understand their accounting side, some other functionality on that front as well. I've personally been here just over 10 years, and during that time, we've really narrowed our focus as an organization. And with that, our focus is really all about the labeling requirements, the food safety requirements, quality data capture, and managing the inventory from the second that the product arrives at any FDA-regulated facility to when it ultimately gets to that end consumer. Now, of course, there's specific regulations around that. All the companies we deal with are, handling this in some format, typically pen and paper, Excel, things like that to effectively, meet those requirements coming in from those regulatory bodies. What we've really focused on, where we've really come to play, and where the article that we put together on this highlights, is that through automation and through basically creating digital records, either directly from equipment in line, whether it's from the labels and scanning those barcodes or managing the process at each step, we can greatly increase efficiency, of course, of tracking that information and provide much more detailed visibility to something that can be somewhat manual and labor-intensive process.
I know a lot of industries are realizing that there is an increased need for digitization because there's an increased demand, especially now during the pandemic, and your product is a good resolution for that.
Absolutely. I mean, whether it's increased demand of the products that they were already making, or we've seen, of course, a lot of our companies pivot and switch into different means of getting that product delivered to the end consumer. So larger e-commerce presence, home delivery with people not wanting to go out to grocery stores as much, and the increase in orders and understanding, of course, where all of that product is going. When you have a truck backing up and headed out to deliver 1,000 orders in a week, you really need to know and have that ability to track it in a digital way, because 1,000 sheets of paper becomes tough to manage pretty quick.
Definitely. Because it's digitized, it increases the efficiency, and it will also reduce any errors in lot tracing.
Absolutely. Of course, anytime you have a paper-based system or even an Excel-based system or something along those lines where it requires a lot of interaction with the end user, you're going to end up with errors. I wish my handwriting was personally better, but you definitely wouldn't want me being the one filling out that paperwork out on the floor there, because at the end of the day, you would be asking me if it was, a number or a letter half the time. And so what we can do with, of course, printing the labels and using barcode scanners, or using even vision systems in line and actually reading the packaging and or vision systems on the product, we can understand, of course, those quality attributes and make sure that the data is accurate as it flows out into the other systems and processes that are required by that company.
I know meat, dairy all had increases in demand during this period. Do you see anything that is specialized to those industries that you have?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so with our original start being from the Alaskan seafood industry, anything that is related to proteins, so when you talk about having a whole animal that you're starting with, whether that's a fish, a cow, pig, whatever it happens to be, there's a lot of similarities and needs for those organizations in tracking, of course, where that original animal came from, the original processing, and then ultimately out to whatever ends up in the consumer's home. And with that, our system and kind of what we've designed out are a number of features, and the platform really supports those processes where other software solutions out there with lot tracing, maybe within other industries, it's just slightly different, if you will. And so we wanted to make sure that we covered those scenarios. So not only can you see the lot tracing side of it, but ultimately, understanding how much product you're actually getting from that process and being efficient, reducing waste, along with the food safety side.
And this will help your clients be USDA and FDA compliant because they'll be able to more easily trace their lots, especially in the case of mitigating any repercussions from a recall.
Absolutely. I mean, many of our customers, of course, are already, meeting those compliant, or they're compliant with those guidelines prior to us coming in to be in business. But we also see, again, with the especially during this time and the expansion, people building new facilities, people building on, new production lines and processes into it. We're getting in a lot of the times now on the ground floor with those and helping design even the process so that it's efficient. We can actually get that data. They have real-time inventory throughout each step, and they don't have to, be concerned with or sweat actually reaching that compliance. They basically have it directly out of the gates. And so, yes, we definitely help make that easier. I've had quite a few customers just note, of course, that we help them sleep at night when it comes time to be worried about any sort of recall or things like that.
And if our viewers wanted to get in contact with you, how would they reach you to be able to use your services?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the best way to reach us, of course, is we have links and people on our website that are ready to answer, easy questions and or set up a more in-depth review of the process. Prior, of course, to these times, and especially with the manual nature of our job and just kind of working with the equipment and things like that, we would often travel to all the facilities. Well, we've had our shift in that area, and of course now we're geared up and have means and ways to actually demonstrate things even more remotely, as well as get things up and running remotely, just to, of course, minimize the risk and exposure in different people that are, walking in and out of these food processing facilities.
Definitely. And so can I get your contact information and your website for our readers?
Yeah, so the website is going to be ParityFactory.com. Sorry, I should have been more specific to answer your question there. The website is the best, and the ParityFactory.com, as well as my email address, personally, or work email address there is tmarshall, so TMARSHALL, and then that's going to be at ParityCorp, ParityCorp.com. And of course, be happy to share that in addition to some other individuals who helped write the article. Got to give them credit here as well. So Alex Lewis, and get his contact information out as well.
Great. Well, thank you for joining me today, Tyler. And I look forward to sharing more of your expertise in this field.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys taking the time for us and letting us participate in this.
Thank you. Make sure to reach out to Safe Food Alliance if they have a full 360-degree suite of food safety services. When it comes to food safety, they've got you covered. You can visit them at their location in Kingsburg, California, or you can visit them online at safefoodalliance.com. Another one of our sponsors is Custom Digital Portfolios. Make sure to reach out and get your digital menus ready so that your customers can know what you have available and be able to reach out to you, especially with the pivoting for the pandemic, where they can help with the distribution and pickup of your food. So go to bit.ly/DM Fresno and get your digital menus today.